Hi, welcome to my channel, Grit, Grind and Gratitude, where we talk to micro entrepreneurs about their journey of becoming a micro entrepreneur and walking that path. Grit, Grind and Gratitude shares stories of resilience, of purpose, and values led entrepreneurs who are shaping their futures boldly. Hi Haninder, hi Shubham. Welcome to Grit, Grind and Gratitude. It's my pleasure to host you today because I remember I met Haninder in 2023, first time, but we have been in conversations even while I was in South Africa. And at that point of time, you were exploring some performance management system
Yeah.
for StrategyConnect. So introduce yourself as you would want the world to know you, and introduce StrategyConnect.
Sure. Who's going to go first, Haninder? Yeah.
Yeah, I can
go
go first. Hi, Deepanvita. Thanks a lot for inviting us to the podcast. I do remember our first conversations, and it's glad to be here. For everyone, my name is Haninder, engineering by education. Started my career with management consulting with a company called Booz back in the days. Now it's called Strategy, and it was in India. Was an amazing experience to learn and get the grips of the industry back in the days. Now the industry has evolved quite a lot, but since then it really gave me the tools and the network to expand my career, and that went and took me to like Dubai, which is one of the prominent cities in GCC these days. That's where I met a lot of friends, made a lot of network, and started my entrepreneurial journey. Happy to talk further.
Amazing. Should I go?
Yeah, sure.
Perfect. No, thanks for hosting us on this podcast. And by the way, to answer your question, the first thing, we are still looking for the performance management tool, so it's not done yet, the search. But beyond that, yes, personally, like if I have to introduce myself, professionally, I think we can cover a lot of the points during the interview itself. But otherwise, my upbringing has been in Delhi, like Haninder. So kind of did my schooling there, graduated from Kurukshetra University's engineering college, and then moved on to the grit of getting into the corporate life in India. Learned a lot. Moved to the US from there to do my MBA. Was still very confused while at MBA what I need to do, but then landed on the opportunity which brought me to Dubai with Rocket Internet. I think that was a culmination of whatever I learned back at engineering during my engineering job life in India, and then whatever I learned in MBA. So it became like a crash course of how things work, how business actually works. And I think at that point I got a lot more resilience into starting on my own, because it was kind of a crash course, which was very risky decision for my life on not taking a standard job but going into a venture which was very shaky. And that was a good crash course into how to be risk averse and try new things. And I think that culminated eventually after the next 2-3 years into meeting Haninder and then taking the decision to start StrategyConnect. So yeah, that's in a nutshell about myself. Otherwise, yeah, in general, just a normal person. Every day I have new hobbies that come up, which last for 2-3 months, and then I change into something else. But professionally, it's been more consistent, I think, for the past 7-8 years.
Cool. So tell us the story of where you met. How did this whole conceptualization of StrategyConnect happen? Take us through that journey.
I think I will take up the question of the where we met, because that's a funny story. And then I guess we can get into more serious stuff. So as I said, I moved to Dubai back in 2013. It was joining a very high growth e-commerce company. And Shubham was also coming from an e-commerce company. He was VP operations at Namshi. It was one of the largest e-com brand in UAE and in Saudi. He was brought in to kind of build a new type of business model, because that's what new funds were raised for at this e-commerce company. So, like we were sitting, and then this guy walks in and he starts asking, questions and data. Like, who this new guy is? And, he looked as a very, very millennial chap with t-shirt and some very informal and casual wear. And he left a very bad impressions, first bad
Really?
he's so rookie, what he wants to do in life, why, and he had no answers to the whys, that I was asking. But anyway, long story short, here we are on a podcast doing business for 8 years. Anyway, the StrategyConnect story is a twist, but I'll let Shubham also comment on that.
Yeah. I mean, I think at that time of my career, it was pretty much like I joined the company that me and Haninder were working together. I was brought in to kind of do this change, and it was just like a chaotic environment. I think even the founders at that time did not know what they really want to do. So they had just hired a bunch of talented, I guess, whatever they could get, cream of the crop within Dubai, they basically brought them in Dubai, India, and then the work was going on. So everyone was trying to work to find some path from that confusion on how to transition that. So it was interesting. And me and Haninder, we started working on the strategy piece. So I was more on the strategic operations transformation. Haninder was handling more on the investments, financial transformation bit. And that's how we started working together. So it was, I guess it was my first time dealing with a consultant. So he was a very consultative kind of approach to thinking, and mine was more practical, pragmatic. So they would come up with random topics. Yeah, we'll do this transformation of this business model to that business model. And I was like, I don't think practically it sounds, like a 2-month plan like you guys are projecting towards. And they would keep challenging us. And then eventually, long story short, that business went bankrupt. So no one could save it. And during that process itself, we were wondering I was personally trying to figure out what my next phase in the professional career would be. One thing I knew that I didn't want to take up a job and start all over in a job process again. So I did not have a good idea of what that business idea would be, but I knew I'll give myself a break of 1.5 years to explore a couple of ideas. I had a few ideas in mind, so I did that. I mean, once post this particular entity, I took a break and I joined an accelerator program where I was trying to figure out whether that business makes sense or not. Haninder came on board first partially and then full on. And then we tried a couple of things. There was this hyperlocal business idea. We modeled it out, didn't work out. Didn't give us the conviction that it's something that we can scale. So eventually what we did was we started working on consulting projects. We knew for a fact that there was a major talent gap in the region, right? So if you want to set up back in the days, e-commerce was a big talent issue. If you wanted to start e-commerce, it was the buzzword. Everyone wanted to go digital, but there was no one who understood how to set up e-commerce for scale, full, right? So everyone relied on people coming in from India e-commerce experience or Europe experience to kind of position things for scale. And positioning things for scale means a lot of systems, processes, technology. So you don't set up things which will work from 0 to 100 orders, but 0 to 5,000 orders. After 5,000, you need to change the processes so that they can take up to 50,000 orders, right? So that was the idea. So that's where the conception of StrategyConnect started. But conceptually, things were there in place. But over a period of time, we changed the way we are doing business so that it's more in tune with what the market reality for GCC is. And who the potential buyers for this kind of a service are. So that evolved eventually from our own learnings, but that was the basic thesis of why we started working on this.
And just to add over here, right? So I think Shubham left this e-commerce company where we both met within a year's time frame, because he was very clear that he wants to try the entrepreneurial sprint faster than I was ready. And during that stint, when this e-commerce company was going in the direction of going bust, that was a good 2 year sprint for myself. Like restructuring the company from 1,800 people to 150 people. And during that restructuring and cash flow management, talent really appeared quite out, because it used to be extremely expensive to hire people, to fire people, to have them get attracted in the region. So it was, I will say, maybe one of the top 3 reasons why, I guess, not just that company but various other companies in the Middle East struggles a lot. I think that was one of the also ingredients that gave us the conviction that talent is a very, very massive white space, and can we figure out a way to platformize the talent access, and that kind of gave birth to what we see today as StrategyConnect.
Cool. So tell me, what exactly, for our listeners, what exactly does StrategyConnect do?
Yeah, so very quickly, StrategyConnect is a platform that aggregates independent freelance talent, and the niche of the talent is more around strategy, planning, and industry experts. And this pool of freelancers is what we provide to organizations, be it public sector. That's one of the major customers for us in the Middle East. Private sector, startups, SMEs. Since it's a very free-floating network, and because of the technology we have built, we are able to bring them together in a very short span and an effective way. It has been an extremely efficient and cost-effective way of organizations to access premium talent.
And how is it different from an Upwork or Fiverr, where also you find, niche talent?
I think on Upwork and Fiverr, over there, these platforms focus on the niches which are more in the functions of design, content writing, website publishing. So that's the talent and that's the niche that they focus on, which is, I will say, low complexity, high frequency service offerings. For StrategyConnect, it is more more complex offering. For example, I want to make a 5-year strategy for my business. I'm launching a new product, make me a financial and a launch plan. I want to restructure my company, so make me how many people I need to have. So these are more complex questions, but obviously the typical service providers for these offerings are big boys and big consulting firms. But that's the niche that we are trying to cater to. That is there a way if this can be serviced through a new innovative model of freelancer? If Shubham wants to add anything over here.
Yeah, I think our focus on the talent pool is pretty much ex-management consultants and industry experts.
Yeah.
And so that's the main difference. Whereas Upwork, Fiverr will focus on like Haninder said, a bigger category of talent. So that's how our focus is defined, and that kind of caters to the clients that we serve as well. So when we are working with government entities, they're talking about transformation projects, how to put together a team of transformation experts, whether it's a engagement manager from McKinsey or an ex-associate partner there, supported by analyst teams. So putting that together, you need a special talent pool, and then around that you build that practice. So that's where we are focusing on. Yeah.
And I think one of the learnings for us was also very quickly is that when it comes to freelancers, and we are talking back in the days, right, 2017, that's where we started properly, full time with full energy focus. Freelancers to be used for business problems was unheard of. People were not comfortable with that. People wanted to hire and have someone full time, security, data, and so many questions were there. I think that and the niche that we are at, the good part was that as strategy or as a transformation as a function was picking up in GCC quite a lot. So it was a topic that people were very, very aware of. So that was one of the kind of an foot in the door, that at least we are offering something that people are buying. Since it was so premium and expensive, a cost-effective way of positioning made sense.
Cool. So take me back to the day you kind of designed the logo, You said this is what we are going to take to the market. Yeah, take
It
us
was
back
very
to those days.
helter-skelter. Look, I mean, there's no day where we define that this is going to be the logo. And I think the first thing that comes to the mind of an entrepreneur when you're starting on your own is where is the first project coming in from?
Absolutely.
Yeah, so we were just scuttering around within our own friends and professional network to get those projects. That's what we did for the first 2 years, actually, right? I mean, Haninder was the one with the consultative toolkit. I was focusing on getting the business. And then once we had that, then we would just spend like endless nights kind of trying to deliver on those projects. Branding and everything came eventually when we thought that, oh, okay, we've made like a couple of projects, we've made some revenue, let's spend on, getting a brand out and things like that. But we never actually focused on the whole branding bit. I mean, we generated our logo on online, like, and the current logo also got changed because it was a free logo which was available. So we started seeing many companies with the same logo. So the people that we hired eventually for our colleagues, they started pointing it out, and we were like, okay, time now to change it. So over time, we worked on the branding bit, and eventually things grew. But like we never clearly had like a very solid plan that this is how the brand is going to come out. And
yeah, I think that's a very unfiltered version. Go ahead.
So cool. Tell me then, where was the first, how did you break through your first client? How did that journey happen?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I think maybe it's a very important question for us, right? So I will break it into two parts, right? First is that very bootstrappy and very, very scrappy way of approaching the market. That's where I think like Shubham touched upon. We reached out to our friends, we were in the market, they knew what kind of work we are really good at. People knew, for example, Shubham was really good at when it comes to tech ops intersection. That's a very complex topic back then, where people were still figuring how to scale their own online businesses. I was pretty good at when it came to strategy creation, fundraising, financial management. So those topics where we reached out to friends, right? So that was more scrappy way. Over there, word spread, and things started to have a snowball effect. The second was more an institutional roadmap or institutional path that began after pandemic. I think 2020, that's where the network was at a meaningful size. A brand was meaningfully known. I will not say lot known back then. I think that's where we started entering and cracking public sector as a vertical, which was 10% pre-pandemic became 80% post-pandemic within 6 months. So I think that was another pathway for us that really unlocked a lot.
So before Shubham chips in, I want to pause here and I want to focus more on how did because I've been here in GCC for 2 years. I know this market is extremely conscious about brands, number one. So either you're getting brands or there's a bit of racism involved as well in consulting, unfortunately. Third is whenever it's Vasta, what is called Vasta, who do you know? How are you connected? So how did the first, you would have made certain number of pitches to people and then you got your first order, first breakthrough. I want to delve deeper into that emotion, into that feeling. Yeah. I know it's a bit dated for you because I think your first project would be around 2018, 2017. Yeah. But take us through that. Delve deeper because this channel is for micro entrepreneurs. So they need to understand that part more.
Yeah, I mean, I can go on it, but I think I want to correct some of the things. I think because what you're talking about, racism and Vasta and stuff, they can be taken into a negative connotation as well. That's what we've been talking about throughout our journey too. At the end of the day, people give business or people, work with other people based on trust, right? And when you see people giving business to, based on the color of skin and stuff, the basic premise is because they trust, right? At the end of the day. So that's where it is. So I don't think we were ever bogged down by the fact that because we are coming from the subcontinent, we won't get business. It's not true. Like if you see the biggest businessmen here, they're from all across the world. So they have been able to kind of, get over that hangover of, this is not going to work out. So that's the intent that you have to understand from a customer's perspective. It's not that they're racist, but they don't trust you enough right now to give you that business. So that's how we started getting business. It was initially because of our own expertise in certain fields that people gave certain projects to us. And then from our learnings, we approached, the government entities with obviously, like, we did not have a clarity of thought in mind that if we do this, it was just persistence. If there's a project proposal that came in, we were like, fine, we will just send the RFP out, we'll just put the response out, let them reject us. And that happens. There were many rejections before the first project came in. And even after the delivery of the first project, it did not mean that there was a snowball effect immediately. The second came in because of certain strategic calls that we took. For example, we joined the accelerator program for Techstars. And the idea for us from joining that accelerator program was not just fundraising, it was also to get access to the Abu Dhabi ecosystem. So we used that time to network properly because it was based out of Hub 71. We used our time to network properly there. And you can call it luck or you can call it by design, but like things started taking shape from there. But it was never the lens of, people were rejecting us. People were very encouraging within the government sector as well. And that's how we started cracking. And that the base of it was, yes, brands are important. That's why when we are talking about the people that we place, what we bring to the table is people from top tier consulting firms, right? And that's what they still care about, like who you are bringing on the table, what they represent, what's their skill set. If you're getting bad quality skill set people, no one's going to talk to you, even if they're startups. And I think we were talking a couple of days back on the fact that does pricing down really affect quality or the perception of quality? Even if you're pricing a project low, the client does not expect a bad quality output. They still expect a top-notch quality, right? So that's how it works. We still, if you talk about the first client, we're still trying to break into certain clients, and we're not there yet, right? So it's always a struggle. Where will that first client be? So what was first back in 2017 is still a question. I mean, just the parameter has changed, but you still keep working towards, okay, when do you get that level of trust, brand, etc., pulled together when they start giving you business? So that's always a fundamental question.
Maybe I think just to add over here, right? So I think for like fellow entrepreneurs or that ecosystem, I think product quality and customer service, you can apply these two fundamentals to every type of business, be it SaaS service, software, or like whatever. I think that's what worked out for us, and consistently there were various number of rejections that we had, and we still get like rejections. Like yesterday we got to know that we are out from 2 RFPs, that we put together a very, very stellar team that could beat or that could be at par other top MBB firms, for example. So we still get like rejection, right? But the point is that how can you show up and put that quality and that consistency. So there will be like rejection, but it's about having 2 successes out of 98 like rejections. I think that's the mantra we believe has been able to work out for us. And there are now various stories around this, but that's the core. How we approach the market, how we are scaling the business, how we are building the product, and how we are kind of also increasing the network.
Cool. Tell me, how do you differentiate yourself from the other players? There are couple of other players in the market who are doing similar kind of work, aggregating talent, freelance talent.
Yeah.
How do you differentiate? What is it that you do differently in terms of your purpose, in terms of your values that you hold together, that you're never willing to compromise, no matter if we lose business, it's fine. So are there some levers like that are spoken between you and Haninder?
For sure, I think the first thing that we always focus and try to get the client's trust on is like, we will never compromise on the output that is being given out by the consultant. Sometimes we have control on the output when it's a scoped out project. Sometimes we don't have control on the output where the client is working directly with the consultant, right? But if there is a problem with the output and if the client wants change, we are always there to step in. We'll never refuse work because the P&L is not making sense, or we'll never refuse change if the P&L is not making sense. We always focus on the fact that if output is not at par to your expectations, we will step in to figure out how to rectify it, and that's our primary focus. I don't know how the competition does it, because also, like, when you talk of competition, their focus areas, their clientele may be the same, but the focus area of service delivery might be different. For example, GLGs of the world, they only focus on expert on calls. So we do overlap, but that's only part of our overlap. Whereas some other firms, they purely focus only on providing the consulting talent and then get out. Like, they don't take accountability of the delivery of it. So where we saw a definite need in the market, I wouldn't say white glove treatment, but there is some level of accountability that you need to provide to the client, saying that, okay, if things go wrong, we are there to step in. We are not saying that it's consultant's responsibility and we step out. Both Haninder and I step in, even if it requires some kind of problem solving, or if it requires change in talent, we both step in and kind of make sure that the client doesn't feel that it's their
So I hear
problem to
customer
kind of-
delight is top notch. Like, you won't want to compromise on customer delight, of course, because word of mouth in specific areas like consulting matters such a lot, I hear that. Anything, Haninder, you want to add on that one?
Look, I think, like, as a platform, obviously we have evolved, right? There were earlier where we were taking our own projects and we were then partially involved and then we were not involved. But throughout that journey, that customer experience is one of the values that we have. Bringing in the experience, how do you kind of mimic an institutional way of delivering a project and not just saying, hey, meet Dipanvita, she has a relevant experience and here's the contract, thank you. So I think that approach of just supplying people and having a very transactional way of dealing with a customer is something that doesn't excite us. And the second way we also like differentiate and values that we carry is, who are we serving? Who are our clients? So typically, for example, there are various platforms in the market, maybe in the Middle East and Europe and US, where they supply consultants to consulting firms. So I think that's also a very massive business in itself. But somehow, as StrategyConnect, we never got excited with that as a vertical, right? Dealing directly with the clients where the problem is getting solved on the ground, bringing technology to help us structure their problem statements in a much more effective way, and then using our workflows to bring that people together. I think that gave the confidence to the end clients that we are not just, how to say this, we are not just people provider, right? There is much deeper, this company, this organization helps my problem. They know what I'm looking for, rather than, hey, there are two strategy consultants, one innovation consultant, one like designer, here's your bill. If they fail, there is an extra fee. So like, we don't go into that mode.
Yeah.
And that's the value and answer of it.
Yeah. Another thing I would like to add is definitely like technology focus is of prime importance. But the second customer or another customer that we have is also the consultants on the platform, right? 80-90% of the cases, they might not need help, but 10% where they need help, whether it's in delivering their project, whether it's design services or sparring partner to problem solve certain things, is where we step in, right? We have their support. We bring support to them, and then also financially, right? How do you make sure that their biggest worry is, as freelancers, will they get paid on time or not? So honoring those contracts. So we spend extra effort of our time just making sure that this is not something that we can compromise on. Yes, I mean, there are nuances to what we are saying. Not everything can be like black and white when you're in the services industry. But at the end of the day, like, we never compromise on the fact that a consultant who's in need of certain things, we will go above and beyond to make sure that those criteria are met. That's primarily the thing. And then our focus on technology is of prime importance. We have our own tech team of about 15 people who are day in and day out working on improving the platform, improving the matching experience, improving the profile experience, improving the fact how jobs are posted, what kind of information is getting published, and things like that. So that really helps us, improve our service delivery.
And I think, just to summarize, right, the three values that really drives us at the core of it. First, I think we talked about quite extensively, which is like customer first or customer experience, no matter what. Second, the value that we keep ourselves, our team, and everyone in the network or the client hold on is the quality. There are no compromises. High quality is what drives everything forward. So that's not non-compromisable, no matter what the P&L, as like Shubham also touched upon. So quality is really, really utmost, because that goes far away. And third thing that we have seen that work very, very brilliantly for us is empathy. The business that we are in, it's people connecting with people. There's always friction, and you need to have empathy for the clients. You need to have empathy for your consultants. Shubham did mention that they are our second client. Both sides of the network is our clients, right? So we have to understand if consultants are asking for something, say design help or early payments, why so? Can we become their trusted partner? And that's the only value that we can add as a platform. And even for the client, right, if they're asking for payment delays, I think it's important to understand why so. Is this something that they control, not control, rather than just going aggressive with them? Hey, you signed the contract, we need this payment now. So I think that's not how, in my view, not just this market, every market works, right? So that empathy has been one of the pillars. I think it's hard. It has been hard for us, but I think that's something that we reap benefits more from long-term perspective, retention perspective, and growth perspective.
Cool. Lovely summarization, Haninder. I heard Shubham, I want to talk more about, I know you guys have developed a lovely tech product, which is AI based. And I was lucky enough to sample it, and I see the brilliance of the product.
Mm-hmm.
Tell us about Marvin. Tell us what Marvin does. I know it's controversial because, I'll hold on to that thing of it, the job losses it's going to bring on. But let us first delve deeper into what Marvin does.
No, sure. I mean, so the idea around Marvin also has been evolving with our own context at StrategyConnect, because we really want to help consultants deliver on the project teams. When they're working as freelancers, they don't have the support network that they have when they are working with full service consulting firms, right? So the whole idea was to kind of being able to give them that support. So that's how Marvin came into being. In a nutshell, it's an AI agent which works as an assistant to you to produce your strategy decks. So you give it a prompt, it problem solves the way a consultant would problem solve on that particular prompt. For example, if you want to develop a go-to-market strategy for your business, a consultant will break down that problem statement into multiple different pointers, and then ask you more insightful questions on that, and then give you a hypothesis before producing the whole deck. So we have replicated that process, and ultimately that AI consultant, which is Marvin, it gives you the first cut version of what that strategy document would look like, right from executive summary all the way to the approach, to the research behind it, to benchmarking and all of that. So that's what Marvin is in a nutshell. And the idea is here is not to replace consultants, because consultants bring in thought process, right? They bring in their expertise, their experience. How do you use that and translate into producing a PowerPoint storyline, which takes a lot of effort and a skill set that only consultants have gained in their professional journey. How to kind of get that 90% of that work out very quickly, so that what they focus is just on solution delivery and the thought process is what Marvin AI basically does. Yeah. Haninder, do you want to add on something?
No, I think pretty well captured, right? Like AI and consulting is a mammoth. I think we will need another podcast for it. But yeah, that's the promise of Marvin. Again, just to reiterate on one point, it's not about replacing people, right? It's about kind of giving the tool that level plays the field. I think that's the internal phrase that we use. You have those 1 year, 2 year old consultants who are just like running with no clue. But I think the idea is to really empower them, to have give them the tools that equips them to problem solve at a much faster rate. AI is here. Generative AI has been improving. Hallucinations has been going down. Marvin as a product focuses very deeply into strategy. We are not obviously competing with frontier models. Rather, we sit on top of those frontier models. We treat, for example, zero hallucination as one of the major points for Marvin, because we have seen, and I think yesterday Deloitte got sacked second time, like giving a report to a government which was again hallucinated numbers. Again, so coming back to the point, I think Marvin is really a tool that helps a wider community to gain the content that AI generates, and in a way that helps business make decisions. So that's the nutshell, the vision and the mission that we are reading after. I think we are not disrupting consulting, we are rather like democratizing consulting is what we believe.
Cool. Last 7-8 years of journey with StrategyConnect and Marvin, if you look at it in totality, what are your high points? So let's talk about high points and then we'll talk about our challenges.
Go for it, Flo.
High points, like the first time when we got I think the first high point was when we first got our first check. I think at that time the payment came in.
We went to see a movie at 2 p.m.
We were celebrating on that check. It was a meaningful sized check, so we were basically celebrating on that. And then the next high point was basically the first government contract we got, but it was also a bit scary because we were, let's say we did not have the team and the structure in place to deliver that project. But it was definitely a high in the sense that, okay, we've cracked into it somehow. So those have been there. Eventually, like I think the successes for us, for at least for me, the way I see it, is always on a short-term basis. Like if there is a problem that we are not able to solve, can we put a system around it? Can we put a process around it? So for example, our tech recruitment process, our just recruitment process. Earlier, it was just me, Haninder, and a couple of other colleagues. We were super manual about it. It was not easy. But now we have like a proper SOP around how that process is going to work, how it's going to work on our own technology. We are promising the client something that it's going to be a two-day delivery process where they will be able to get profiles. Are we able to stick around to that or not? So those successes come not in an instant, but over time. And we see progress there. And that's like super confidence boosting for us. And not just in one process, even in finance, even in Marvin, when we are getting feedback from our own consultant pool and we are developing on the project, and we see that the product keeps evolving and always the output gets better. So that success is definitely over time, like it gathers momentum. I think the next big success would be probably around Marvel. But I guess like these successes are very kind of typecasted in the outside world, whether it's a fundraise or something like that. But internally, it's always a grind that, keep pushing.
Yeah, and you climb one mountain and then you see there's another mountain to climb.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So, and your challenges, biggest challenges? One you talked about briefly because, when you got your first government contract, you didn't have
Yeah,
you didn't know how to a ready team to deliver on that project. And then you would have,
true.
so delve deeper into that and then talk about other challenges.
I mean, look, when we are in the people's business, challenges are mostly around managing clients and managing payments, especially in the services side, because there is no upfront advance payment for anything, or like very rarely. So, initially, when we were not at a scale, or there was a client, what do you call it? There's a terminology for it. Like we had concentration on few clients. At that time, there were certain points where payments were super risky, and we were at a point where, if that did not come through, we would have to basically shut down business and kind of move on. So there have been low points, but otherwise, I don't think there has been challenges as such that has demotivated us to the point where we quit. Right? We've always tried to work around those solutions. But yeah, I mean, in the entrepreneurial journey, like that's the biggest risk that you have. Like you won't get payment and you have bills to pay, and that it forces you to shut down. And there is no mantra around, evolving that. What we have done, or what we have been doing overall, and that's primarily from our experience of seeing businesses where we were having shut down, is we are very pragmatic about our cash flows. How do we manage our cash flows? And I think that you see fundamentally, like when you talk to entrepreneurs, even who've been running businesses for a while, you see sometimes that they're not being pragmatic about how they manage their cash flows, and you see them getting into the risk. Micro entrepreneurs or big entrepreneurs, right? I mean, Kingfisher is a case where you've seen them fail at such a massive scale. So that's where we are always pragmatic about it. I'm personally the first startup that I joined with Rocket Internet, that shut down in 3 months. It went through the cycle of fundraise to scale to going bust. Within the 3 months, it failed. The next one was where we were working together. So we've seen that journey, and it always built that into our own systems, that we have to be resilient around cash flows and be pragmatic about that.
Haninder, you have any inputs on that?
Yeah, of course. Like I will be brief. I know we are out of time. I think from a highs perspective, I will say 3 highs summarized in last 8 years. How StrategyConnect as a business gained some traction 2019 onwards. Second high was post-pandemic, where the second wave of growth came from institutions. And the third, I will say, is how we are taking Marvin to the market. I think it's a very interesting evolution, an AI product which is anchored into reality, not hype. I think that's something we really want to be careful and very focused about. Challenges, I think, like Shubham covered quite a lot of it. The financial management we learned very closely with our ex-employers. I think that really made us into a different DNA. Entrepreneurs, we are not. I don't know, for good or for bad, we did not raise large VC funding. That also gave us the freedom, yet also helps us maintain, the reality check. I will say, other challenge that we keep solving for is around tech, the talent we want to bring in. How do we finesse the product? How do we, fight with the giants who might have raised hundreds of millions, if not millions of dollars? Because we have our niche identified, we have our customer segment identified, we still believe that we have a right to play, we have a right to win as well. So those are challenges, right, that we keep on struggling, as everyone else, for that matter. But the idea is to keep growing in the grind of it.
Cool. If you look back on your journey, and if I ask you, what will be some nuggets of wisdom that you give to people who are starting out on this journey of micro entrepreneurs, what would that be? Your learnings that you want to caution people about, or something that they should be mindful?
I can go first maybe on this. I think not obviously there are so many learnings, but if I have to go back, and tell myself when I was just starting up, I think the learning would be more around how to balance quality and speed. I started as an entrepreneur, which was too much focused on quality. So I went into like delaying stuff, personally speaking. So I think that would be one learning, that acknowledge that yes, quality is important, but speed as well is important. So balance it, right? That's one of the learning, and it changes, right? It changes what you're trying to do with your product, with your customer, with your delivery, with your network. Right. And
I
the
would
second thing,
pause there and just summarize, because that's the fine difference between perfection and excellence. Excellence is a journey, perfection is an output. And when we are trying to do that, it's, we are stuck on, improving
Yeah.
little things, and then we lose time. Yeah, beautifully said. Next one.
And maybe one more that I would say is around consistency. We have seen where, for example, with Marvin, we would have spoken to more than 100 customers. Perhaps more, like a lot of it would have been feedback, how to improve, not to improve, already great product, not a great product, shit product, breakthrough product. I think it's not about just picking the feedback. I think it's about consistently showing up. We have seen it in StrategyConnect as well. 100 like rejections, 2 acceptances, and that's what it takes for business to grow. So I think consistency would be my second core learning that I will, kind of take and not just apply now, but in many years to come.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Shubham.
Yeah, apart from what Haninder said, I think personally, like, try to find better partners, or try to find partners to work with, right? I mean, it's a very solo journey. So at times, mostly when you're not doing well, being alone is not the best state to be in, because you're not able to think clearly. And also when you're doing extremely well, you can always get sidetracked by success and start doing things wrong. So having, I'm not saying co-founders, you can also have good CTOs. They could be colleagues who are employed by you.
Yeah.
But having that kind of partnership is super important. And apart from that, I think having systems in place, always thinking about how to put together an engine that works, micro engines in your organizations that work, where you don't have to kind of step in all the time to kind of fix things or deliver on things. You rely on that engine to work, whether it's a 2-person team or a technology. You need to make it work. If it's always a growing organization where everyone is working manually, like, it's very difficult to scale. Even if it's a services business like ours, it's always about having that structure in place. We're not like 100% well defined yet. For example, our sales engine is still not like, it's an engine, we would say. We still have to step in. But a lot of the other stuff, we completely rely on our colleagues to take care of. And yeah, I think these 2 things are fundamentally important. Not easy to get through, but if you can try to get it together, then great. Otherwise, don't give it. I would say don't have like don't, what do you call it? Don't hold on to the fact that you're a successful or a failed entrepreneur. Like, that's for other people to kind of classify you. And if you get too bogged down by that, go back to your job life. I mean, I started appreciating my job much more when I was an entrepreneur, because while you're doing that, you're like always hating on it. Like, why are they making me do this, that? There's a lot of ego. But when you start paying salaries every end of every month, you're like, why don't people appreciate the fact that we're paying them salaries? So now I appreciate the job life as well. There's a consistency to that. So yeah.
That brings me to the point that would you forever want to go back to Namshi days?
Yeah, I mean, I don't mind. Like, at the end of the day, like, if that has to be done, it has to be done. I have been able to separate the fact that job success or entrepreneurial success has got nothing to do with your life success, right? I mean, right now, both Haninder and I are super, in the sense, like, we are very good at our personal lives. We have built it in such a way that we don't have to worry about that, and that's success in itself, right? if tomorrow Marvin fails or Strategy Connect fails and we both have to go back to job life, so be it. Like we'll do that. Not a big deal. It's not. There's not no shame around that.
Yeah, the experience
Yeah.
is enriching enough, you know. You are a different
Yeah.
person.
Yeah.
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 And Haninder, yours? Would you love to go back to booze days?
I don't know, it will be difficult for me to get into that cast again, the 2 a.m., 3 a.m. But I think, yeah, look, to some extent, I agree, right? If it has to be, then it has to be done. But the way we have built things, I think something has to fundamentally go wrong because I really enjoy what we are doing now, right? There's a lot of
Yeah.
freedom. There's a big team that has been built around. There's a clear direction. There's a clear market that we have to go after. Products, there is extreme clarity. So I think I would love to keep doing what I'm doing.
Yeah.
I guess otherwise I will open up, a gluten flour mill and sell it in small bags. That might be better.
Gluten-free flour mill, you are saying.
Okay, I'm giving away free ideas here, but anyway.
Cool. Anything that we haven't covered that you would like our listeners to know about?
I guess.
I don't. Yeah.
It was quite a comprehensive piece. We would love to come again in case there is any follow-up that you would like to do. But yeah, wonderful to be doing this.
Lovely, lovely chatting, trying to figure out how your, entrepreneurship failures actually brought you together and you set up on this journey of Strategy Connect and Marvin, and how the grit is there, the grind is there, and there's lots of gratitude on what this whole journey brings on your plate. Yeah, I did hear Shubham saying, I don't mind going back to Namshi, I'm a richer person, but Haninder is like, no, I want to stick through this. I don't want to go back to that, the grind of a consultant's life, which is like really, really. Yeah. So thank you so much.
I didn't say I want to go back to Namchi. I'd say going back to a job. I'll find a chill job.
If you like this interview, please don't forget to subscribe by pressing the bell icon and follow us on our social media handles as we talk to more and more micro entrepreneurs who are living their dreams boldly.